Welcome. Hi, everybody. Thank you for being here and welcome to another channel message. At this point, this message was channeled from the Pleiadians by automated writing. If you're new to this channel message, as always, if you wish to be open-minded, take what resonates with you and leave aside the rest. This message was downloaded and received on the 25th of March 2025. So it refers to something that just occurs in these past days. Some people may have felt about shift or just energy shifting. Although even it refers to an event that just occurs, so there is a timing to it. At any point, even in the future, you will listen or come across this message. You may be meant to receive it, and there are always going to be things that may resonate with you. We are the Pleiadians, Council of Light. With this transmission, we wish to inform you all that Earth has indeed shifted in its brightest, fullest form. You may not yet see changes with your physical eyes, yes, yet many have been feeling it, sensing it, or just knowing it. Old paradigms will begin progressively to fade away. Transition, the one your human you will realize with his or her senses, will be rather slow, and some won't even notice it. Yet energetically, you may have felt it and continue to feel that something has changed. And there is no going back. With this, we don't mean to say that you won't experience any low or any challenge. After all, we are here collectively, and it is part of your human experience journey to evolve, to learn through lessons, experiences, to create and attract what you create. Yes, as always, watch your words, thoughts, and frequencies. Yet we mean that you may feel like something too, rather and in addition to something outside of you that you may not quite define, something within you has shifted, and this was highlighted. Like parts of you or a whole new version of you that has stepped in. Suddenly, you may no longer tolerate some patterns or behavior, an environment you were into, maybe a person or people or a situation in your life. Give a hug to that past version of you and sprinkle compassion over yourself. Even if you don't yet comprehend how big or crucially important this shift was, please celebrate. It is not over, yet by all means, this is an important step. It is not over, they refer to the dance between the darkness and the light. It is this shift, although it's an important step. An excellent achievement and a milestone. Many things are revealed very slowly, like a drop at a time. This is also to, yes, in a way, test reaction. This helps to shape and pace future events. And most importantly, to allow time for the humans on the spiritual awakening journey to integrate. Expanding on this. As you know, when the telepathic receiving of the message of the download comes, there is the possibility for the receiver, in this case me, to ask questions back. And so I wanted for them to expand on this, whether they were speaking solely for people on the spiritual awakening journey or to everyone, and they integrate. Expanding on this, all humans will need to integrate to some degree. We refer to the fact that a portion of you has been more open to receive collective updates, energy updates, and in general has been more open to questioning and embracing more of their spiritual and conscious self. To those people, we particularly communicate and send love and light, and we send guidance. We can't force a direction nor another. We cannot intervene more than a certain extent, yet we surely can offer guidance. And we have for centuries been communicating with those open or scheduled to receive us. And they add a note for me. You can add your own story at the end to explain on this concept. In this heart shift and integration process, what you should know and how to navigate things is, they make sort of a bullet point here. Allow time in nature, exposed to the sun safely, or the sky at night, any outdoor, to enable that connection and activation with and by nature. Second point, show Gaia your love. Some of you nurture flowers or grow trees or veggies. Some of you speak blessings into the water, send love to the elements and all creation. This goes out from you, and to you it returns. Point 3. Notice, write down, make lists of the old beliefs, of the things, people or situation, or of the limiting thoughts or habits you had that you no longer tolerate, that don't align to the new version of you. You can ask assistance to the enlightened and or highest version of your soul to assist you in this transition, to help you to gracefully shed away what you no longer need or what you no longer are. Fourth point, take a moment to reflect upon what you prefer to be in the new shifted version of you. Some of you may embrace dreams or like vision boards, or receiving dreams and signs, synchronicities. Expect these to come and call them in light to show you the way. Some of you prefer to use intuition or to channel, like this one. What we mean is, you may prefer to integrate to your human dreams and wishes, example, careers, partner, things that you may desire. You may, so on top of that human dreams, the one that you can decide with your mind, you can integrate that with the soul channeled messages in your true best interest, your guidance, and information to align you with your purpose, to reveal more of what you came here to do, what you incarnated here for. So they refer to the ability of people to channel guidance, to have more information from the soul or from the spirit team or a source, whoever you want to refer to. This is something that everyone can learn or do. Yet for many, if you are not already doing it, like every skills, it may take time to develop, and there are endless ways to learn. Yes, you can mention Edward Cayce book on channeling the higher self and other ways. So if you look up Edward Cayce or channeling, there is so much. And Edward Cayce, very famous many years ago, he used to say in the initial part of his book, there are as many ways to channel as there are channelers. It's really endless. In this telepathic communication, I ask if they could provide some messages or some words to what's next, what is upcoming. Okay, we understand some of us may have felt that the earth has shifted. What is some that they can say for what is about to come next? And they say, what we can say is a few years from now, the world as you know it today may and will look completely transformed for those of you ready to shift. So we suggest, first, choose your lens. And we borrowed these words from her. The important sense here is that you can choose to see this message as in, when they say things are going to completely transform, this message that things are going to completely transform and change, you can choose to take these through the lenses of anxiety or to embrace it as, wow, I have this beautiful opportunity now to explore it, to experience, and to create as best as I want to, with things being as I found them right now. Yes, in all being here and now. This is too big of a concept for many, so we'll leave it aside for now. Your win is to make the best out of every situation, of every here and now. So make the best of every here and now. And as we explained in previous messages, frequencies highlighted, the frequencies you vibrate at are and will remain the most important factor of all. These are correlated to your beliefs, your thoughts, your emotion, and yes, the environment, including hydration, the food that you eat, body posture, clothing, physical surroundings, environment, the content that you listen to, etc. We love you so much. Thank you for all of you shining their light for you, for others, and for the collective. We see you, we acknowledge you, we thank you. With love, the Pleiadians. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm curious to know whether you and from which part of the world you are listening, if you have been feeling particular shifts in this world. Now, it depends also on how connected are you with nature, with Gaia, with energies in general. You may feel it, you may not. Most importantly, discernment and distinguishment. Do you practice? Meditation can be the ground tool to then understand what I mean with discernment and distinguishment. So if you practice meditation, you may have an advantage on this. Otherwise, how much are you able to identify which are the emotions that are you, which ones are your reaction, and which ones are the energies or the things or the emotions, the feedbacks that you are picking up from the surroundings around you? I've been going through so much in this month, as I've briefly mentioned previously, but I can say that we are in Sydney, so Sydney timeline, Sunday, 23rd. In the middle of the day, I started to, with no particular reason, nothing else shifted in my world. It's not that I have ended or done a particular good activity. Actually, I had very challenging moments in the morning, but I felt this shift. And it was not coming from me. It was not something from me. It's like I could tap into, and then with those ongoing channeling communication, it was like a party going on. There was such a beautiful high feeling it, like the sense of celebration. I could not understand why, as in my mind, there was not a rational reason for that was happening. Although there was this sense of knowing that I was tapping into something positive that had happened or shifted. And I just allow myself to, okay, let's embrace this beautiful high and just celebrate. And I really felt the need to go and connect with nature, with the water, be in the ocean, really spend time with Mother Nature, and physically being in the water as well more than one time throughout that afternoon. So I'm curious to understand what did it relate, what did it feels, anything big in terms of shift. What is something that they asked me to integrate? Yes, they make a reference for me to integrate about when they say that they, like the Pleiadians or other collectives, have been communicating for centuries, for millennia even, with doors open or scheduled to receive them. What do they mean? So from my understanding, from my journey, studies from other things that I witnessed for people that I know, or bigger people of more common knowledge, or books, podcasts, everything, it is clear by now that we incarnate, and it's sort of like there's already a roadmap. So there's going to be a few events that are set. We have many contracts set in place, and some may be tied to ancestral lineage, tied to parallels or past life. Everything happens at the same time. But again, for the sake of understanding, let's refer to past life to life that are like completely completed, and parallel lives may be something that is already going on another dimension. If this is too much for you, just listen. Again, pretend I'm telling a story or a movie, and later on, if your degree of understanding and your openness to all this may expand and grow better, then these things may resonate and make more sense in retrospective. But for now, let's say everything is here now. This said, we may have contracts, even in this life, coming with different origins. So we said family, ancestral, other lives, our lives, and also what we are here to achieve in this life. So everything balances so well, beautifully together. And it's like in spreading out the lessons and in spreading out what we're here to do. For example, okay, in one life, you're gonna experience the fullness of love, joy, and abundance. In this other life, you may experience what it is like to be on the dark side, and so on. Now you can have more of the experience of the degree of the spectrum. Where I'm going with this? I'm not one of those gifted child that seen auras or hear spirit since when a child. Impressively, I know direct friends that are like that, and never was interested in being on that path. Something that has always been on my journey has been really having this uncommon high standard of courage, of integrity, of a defined personality, not in terms that I was perfect, very far from that, but I knew, even when I was a child, I knew how to put my boundaries. I knew, like, if someone was putting me down or etc., yes, eventually those words would sink in and affect me profoundly. Although I was not expecting to please others, or I knew how to put my boundaries. I had that sense of self-identity. I don't know how I can explain it. No one told me that. It was just there. like the integrity, it was just there. And many times I was tested and tested in so many different ways. Now I may understand that that made a sense. It's yet to be revealed the level of preparation, or why that was needed, or why, in part, why I attracted that and why I was needed. We're getting into contract and the relevance of what the Pleiadians say. So even if you were not a psychic since a child and you had full disclosure or full understanding on your life purpose, and I want to pinpoint here, when you get a reading, if you get a reading like Akashic record readings or another type of psychic reading from medium, psychic, anyone that you trust or is professional, that is doing this professionally in this space, I want to leave some space for reflection that, first of all, contracts can be changed. You always retain a level of free will. It's like, yes, contracts and missions may be written on the path of your life, but then whether to say yes or no is still up to you. The driving wheel is still in your hands. Like, you're still the captain of your life and you're still gonna decide. Now, yes, if something was meant to you, or you agree to do something that it's important, trust me, the universe will continue to lift you up and bring you back where you needed to be. Or close doors for you, open others, bring people your way, take other people away. All things may happen in this. So I agree when people say, yes, you decide and you can draw to you what you want to, although I have seen it's very rare, but depending on your mission, if you're meant to do something, if you came here to do something, your free will matter. But if you were here to be at service, you may find that your free will counts to some degree. And then there will be God's plan coming in, or source or the universe plan coming in and redirecting you. Back to contract, what do they mean? In this life, I came to understanding, because things were continuing to show up, and I've talked about this in another episode. There was a sense that there was a contract, because it was too odd. These things from galactic and other things were coming at me with no understanding, with no me calling them. So I went in with ways to validate, and yes, it seems to be that was on my contract. This is why this collective was knocking on my door so often, even me putting a lot of protection, boundaries, something felt off, with channeling, something was not in life. So that was me. When I understood more and validated that, was me making a decision from my heart, reclaiming the power over my soul and over my path, that no, I was not interested in that. And I wanted to stay in light. I wanted only to stay in light. And what happened was quite magical, and I was not as a matter of fact, I was expecting none on this. But what happened is that, without even understanding what I was doing so much, let's remember, at this point when I'm speaking, my third eye is not as open. So most of the time it's the cognizance, it's the auditory, it's the feeling, it's the sentience. So without seeing, but really perceiving and be able to shift the good from the bad to in light from in not, making that decision of the contract, that meant that contract was collapsed. And then I also, skeptic at nature, I went and did a session with someone that didn't know anything about it. And so I wanted to have a validation from someone that didn't know. And they gave a validation. And so when I validated this, I went ahead and collapsed that lifetime and really officially scrapped that contract. And for the second time, there was sort of this cheering, this joy from my spirit team. And this is also where I understand, because in asking, retrospecting them, why didn't you say anything? It's like, that's your contract, that's your free will. It's up to you to decide. So remember that if you ever in a position where you feel forced or everything is pointing in a direction of you doing something, few situations may be presenting. Option A, that might be a test for you. And I'm gonna do another video if this is helpful, because I have plenty of examples on being tested and what do I mean by this. Option 2, you had a contract. It might be a contract with another person. I've altered that recently of another karmic contract with someone. I said, look, I've learned many lessons. Can we skip that? Like, I'm smelling this from even before meeting the person. Channeled, validated. Yes, don't need to do that. Okay, beautiful. Let's focus. Let's use the energy to do something better. Point number 3, it's in your contract. You have contracted to do something, but if you feel something is off, you have free will and you can still decide. It's a bit challenging if you're not channeling yet to understand, discern, and even having this conversation. Years ago, I was not able to do this. you can have someone assistance to validate and have this conversation, or you can put time and dedication to enhance your channeling skills and develop them over time. And when you feel more confident, then you can go ahead and check within yourself. It's like a meditation practice. It's a skills. It gets better over time. You need to be consistent. You need to be honest with yourself. So we said, if it's something that you're not comfortable with, it may be something in light, but just you don't feel right for you. Atina Bailey in our crowd shares something about this, about a contract about giving birth to a child. Constance Messner, she's another beautiful spiritual teacher. She talked about this just recently when I think she shares a story and she had full channeling about this. So she knew, full conversation with the guides. She understood she was contracted to automated writing and channel a book, but she tried and she didn't like the topic, she didn't like the energy. So she said, I'm sorry, I'm not okay to do this. Can we break this contract? And the guide said, yes, of course, you have free will, you can do that. And she went off into other things years later. So you have the free will. Now what can happen? I said no to whatever was collaborating with this collective that was knocking at my doors from Galactic Source. And then I started receiving messages from the Pleiadians. I was not contracted in this life to channel the Pleiadians. Although I understand by now I had lifetimes and this was channeled. They explained to me you had other lives, even in leadership position in the Pleiades. So like if you're open to this, you make a decision in this life to only walk a path in full light, then this can be on your card. Do you wish to do this? And it felt right in my heart. It felt right in the frequencies. And I was very honored. And I'm still, I don't know if I'm more puzzled, humbled, excited, mind blown, all together at the same time. But it feels right. And I know, and as a human, I'm also, there was one video where I shared, the first time where I put public a video where I channel a message, I had nausea. Now, why did I have nausea? I didn't have nausea because that felt not right. I gave the tick. I decided to say yes to that. But that was, remember what I said about we peel the layer of the death of ego? That was a part of me that needed to go. And so I take so much responsibility that I also see this as a skeptic, with a big curriculum as a skeptic. I take this approach. I can decide to look at this through this lens. Now, whether this message come from the Pleiadians or not, does it speak words that I think the words to be constructive? Yes. If I would hear this message from someone else, even if it may sound a bit weird, is the core content a positive content, a content that can be helpful for people? I think it is. And so I go ahead. Now, beyond that, at this level, I have enough validation that I know that I'm challenging. I don't need other people to believe that I'm channeling. I don't need other people's approval. I don't need to apologize. But I know, first of all, I'm following instruction. And then as a human, regardless of the instruction, I take responsibility that, yes, okay, I said yes to be at service. Things start to come. So this is an example of, if you close a contract, then don't be fearful, because things may come on your way that can be even better than what you ever expected or even imagined it could have been possible. Let alone when I closed other doors and took care of other things that were following me from other lifetimes without me understanding or even knowing. And then even Ashtar, Archangel Metatron, and others started to come through. So much is possible. And remember that in your path, what is meant for you will keep showing on your path, as well as you're always in free will to make adjustment and to decide what you want to feel more aligned with and what you prefer to leave aside. It's also in your right to do something in between, such as you may set your boundaries as a human to say, I want more information. For now, I don't think it's right, but we may reconsider later on. And these things may happen. Now, if there is an urgency, for example, if there's something that needs to happen in a particular time and you're not ready, that may go to someone else. And this makes a lot of sense for me. Like, if we need to drive people from A to B tomorrow and you're not ready, we're gonna ask someone else because that needs to happen tomorrow. But if it's something that you can wait, then of course things can also be delayed. So it's a two-way conversation, and I love it so much. There's a beautiful woman, I think she's called The Alchemist, and she shares a lot of knowledge as well. And she was saying this, she was not agreeing so much when people see guides or galactic beings or angels, etc., with this sense of, yes, there's a lot of respect and compassion and joy or gratitude, but not when they handle all their power over. And she said something beautiful, that is a beautiful way to put it into words, which is see them as colleagues. See them as colleagues. It's like we're a team. They can give the guidance, we can do and take the actions from the human embodiment, and vice versa. To have such guidance can be such an advantage. And even those people that are not so open to channel, when you feel like, I've just felt it, I just knew it, I just knew it, that person was off, I just felt it, that contract was right for me, or anything similar, I just knew that my child needed me. Where do you think that's coming from? So we are constantly bathed in all this consciousness, in all the knowing, and our agree to read and to which depth is going to depend on, yes, for some the level of gifts, but ultimately to the level of skills, and the skills we can practice. I'm going to wrap up the video for now. Thank you so much if you stayed till the end. Please share any comment or subscribe to the channel to support the content. I send you so much light and love, and thank you for being here. Bye.